Dan, Pro Football Focus came out with positional group rankings, and not really a surprise, but it is kind of nice. Browns offensive line, best positional group, according to Pro Football Focus in the NFL. They certainly performed well and earned that.
They did, and it's really just a unit award. All 5 of those guys performed at a level high enough to make it a really great offensive line. And even Jedrick Wills, look, he had his struggles as a rookie here and there, but he really solidified left tackle. Bringing in Jack Conklin solidified the right. And then the interior of that line was fantastic. We knew about Bitonio and Treader, but Wyatt Teller kind of comes out of nowhere. Probably one of John Dorsey's best trades, best acquisitions. Has to be Wyatt Teller based on what we saw from him. And what I think is really exciting is Jedrick Wills can get better. Teller can get better as a pass blocker. This line might be the best unit in football, but there's room for them to improve still.
And the other thing is Bill Callahan, the coach of that line, did great work. The other thing to keep in mind is they were pulling guys out of free agency, putting them in playoff games, and they were performing. So it was a line that missed games late in the year and had guys walk in off the street and perform really, really well. So not only is it good, it's pretty deep too.
And you said the key name there. It's Bill Callahan. Kevin Stefanski went out and hired a guy to coach this offensive line who was one of the best offensive line coaches in football. Wyatt Teller was going to work with Bill Callahan in the offseason before he got hired by the Browns because he wanted to improve that technical aspect of his game. So adding Callahan not only gave Stefanski an ear in the building if he needed to ask questions or, run something by him in his first time as a head coach, but it also gave the Browns one of the best offensive line coaches in football. And it also speaks to, I just think organization-wide, their goal is to have every player on the roster ready to step in. They're not all going to be Pro Bowlers. They're not all going to be great over the course of a season. But if you need a guy to step in and play a game or play 2 or 3 weeks, this coaching staff is going to get those guys ready.
And you mentioned Jedrick Wills. Think about switching from right tackle to left tackle, not having any preseason, any training camp, any OTAs, but being able to at least go out there and hold your own in a completely new position where you do things a little differently, more than a little differently.
Yeah, and I love that the Browns didn't protect him. We talked to Callahan last spring, and he was basically asked, is there a chance that maybe you wouldn't want to throw him out there week 1? And Bill Callahan didn't shy away. He said, no, I want him out there. I want him out there week 1. I want to see and be able to document that improvement from week 1 through week 17. And then, of course, into the postseason, they got those extra weeks. They didn't want to protect Jed Wills. They took him number 10. They wanted to put him out there at left tackle. And I don't feel like he ever looked in over his head. Again, you can nitpick some things here. I know PFF didn't give him the best grade, but just the eyeball test tells me that they have a guy that can play the position, and I think ultimately can play the position at a high level.